Hi guys.
Hi, Brendan.
Are you okay?
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, good. Good, thank you.
Good. I just wanted to start, Brendan, with team news. What's the latest on James Madison? Will he be available this weekend?
No, James is still out. Got real good news. Johnny Evans back and should be available. Dennis Pratt has been training this week as well, so he should be available, and Jose Perez. So I'll check with all of those three before we select the team. But yeah, it's great to have those back and back in the squad.
And how is James doing? What's the latest there? Is there any updated timescale?
No update. I think I said the other week that we are probably looking at see where he's at after the international break. So, but yeah, day on day he's getting better. Again, there's no sort of timeline on it. It's just really about how he's going to feel, and I know there's a little bit of soreness there, but he's working with the medical team very hard, and he's as frustrated as us all really, because he's such a big player for us. But hopefully he'll play a real part for us in the closing games.
You said about him being frustrated. How has he been in himself? Because you can imagine it is frustrating when obviously it's recurrence of a problem, and also, he's missed what it would have been a handful of games now with this weekend.
Yeah, like any football player, and especially a young player that loves the game. He's a boy that trains every single day. He loves his football, loves talking about the game, loves improving and becoming better, and of course there's that element of frustration when you can't do that and you're laying the treatment, table watching everyone else train outside. So, but yeah, after those first few days or so, his spirits has been up. He's like I said, he's just waiting and seeing how he reacts to some of the work he's doing. It's in the same area, but it's not the same injury that was repaired before. But yeah, there's obviously a reaction there in the tendon that we need to see obviously how that develops. But hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll be back sooner rather than later.
And how's Jose Perez as well? I don't know if you mentioned him a minute ago. Yes,
yeah, great. Looks very, very good in training. He was doing some finishing exercises this morning and been excellent. So, and the thing with him is that he's actually got a good fitness level because he's actually been able to continue with that side of things. But yeah, I'll speak with him either later or first thing in the morning and get a feel for where he's at.
And I just wanted to get your thoughts on the big news today that Chris Wilder is expected to leave his job at Sheffield United. It hasn't been officially confirmed by the club as of yet. What's your reaction to that news? Has that surprised you today?
Well, nothing really until it's confirmed. Then there's not really a great deal to say on it. Chris has done a wonderful job there, and I think only when it's confirmed. I don't really want to speculate on gossip, but if it comes out, then of course I'll speak on it. Apart from that, we're preparing for a game against a tough team. It's been a tough season for Sheffield United. Lost a lot of key players for them, and like I said, they've gone close in a lot of their games, but it has been tough. But we'll prepare for a tough game. I think it's every time you play against Sheffield United and the experiences now over these last couple of seasons, then you got to be ready for a tough game. So that's what we're preparing for.
And just last one from me, Brendan. A question about VAR, unfortunately. But the news at the Premier League are asking clubs how they can improve decisions. The survey, I believe, is going to be sent out over the next few days. What are your thoughts on improvements, I suppose?
Well, again, I don't think it's not VAR; it's the implementation of it. It's who's operating it. We had an incident last week at Brighton, which could have cost us in a penalty, which looked a clear penalty. You can see the defender catching Vardy when he goes into the box, and then he goes down, and afterwards there's a follow through for the ball. And to be fair, the position where it was and the speed of it with Jamie running into the box, it'd be difficult for Michael to call the penalty. But when it goes to the VAR and when it's slowed down and you look at the different angles, I think you can see clearly that it was a penalty. So for not to be given, it's frustrating. And then you see the incident with Phil Foden, and people talk about honesty of players and staying up, but that's what happens. He stays on his feet. He doesn't get the penalty. If he goes down, he'll get a penalty. So yeah, it will always be about interpretation. The VAR, as I've always said, has been great, but it's obviously the application of the rules and what they are, and what people will see. That will always be up for debate.
Thanks, Brendan.
Cheers, Emmett. Thank you.
Okay, Naz Promji, please.
Hi, Brendan, you okay?
Yes, good, Naz. Thanks.
Brendan, how delighted are you to have Johnny Evans back? Because he's a big player and a big personality in your team, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been brilliant in my time here. Knows the level that we want to take the team to, and he plays at that level once he's fit. So, he struggled through an injury that he'd had for a few weeks, and or for a number of weeks. So it was going to always be the best when he came off against Arsenal to offload him, and thankfully he's worked well with the medical team, and he's trained this morning and felt no effects. So I'll speak to him again tomorrow just to see how he is, after 24 hours. But to have him back available, of course, is very important, because he gives us great security at the back.
Johnny himself, I think, in a recent interview, mentioned the role that Kolo Touré plays in a lot of your defensive work, and all your staff play key roles. But how much of a benefit is it for you and the team having someone like Kolo on your staff working with the defenders, and I presume the rest of the team?
Yeah, well, I think it's a collective effort from everyone. Of course, I've got brilliant coaches here that work. Chris Davies. Chris has been with me a long time, and we've known each other a long time, and he's an outstanding coach. Adam Sadler, again, another very experienced coach. And these guys are very, very good with players and improving players. Colo, at the beginning of his coaching career, his personality, everything about him, he's very charismatic. But what he is, he's very serious about his role as a coach, and he's been there. He understands what the modern player is thinking, and he works very, very well with them. So that combination, all the coaches, I've got different characters and personalities within our coaching staff, but all of them they do a great job in improving the players.
You mentioned, I think, after the Brighton game, it was an outstanding performance, particularly in the second half, and Kelechi got his second goal in as many games. He's really in a good place at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, it was an outstanding win. The first half wasn't outstanding at all. It wasn't very good in every aspect of how we would want to play the game. The second half was much better, still off the level that we can work at, but that's obviously understandable with the creativity and the quality that maybe isn't available to us. However, you still need to react, and you still need to show a focus and an intensity to the game. In the second half, the hard work and intensity is what we brought to our game, and that allowed us to then go on and win the game. And it showed a great mentality and players that that our record is very good, especially in the last 15 minutes of games. So that shows you the fitness level, it shows you the mentality and that never say die attitude. So a very, very important 3 points for us, and considering, like I said, we weren't quite at our best.
And going into the weekend, you've shown a good level of sort of bounce back ability after the little blips, and the pleasing thing must be this season, when you have had the odd defeat here and there, it's not gone on to become a big run. You've got back on track really quickly, haven't you? Yeah,
I think it's what we stick to our process. It's something that we haven't dwelt and been too critical. We're very honest and candid when we lose a game. We look at it, analyse it, where we can be better. But I tend to not want to dwell on it with the players. But I think it also shows you the expectation. We lost 2 games in a row. We lost to Slavia Prague and in our second game, and we lost to Arsenal. and people now are looking at Leicester losing to Arsenal as a massive setback. So that really shows the expectancy of how well the players have done and what they've created over this last couple of seasons. So yeah, but important, of course, that when you do lose games, you refocus and get back to winning. And they did that very well in our last game.
And just finally from me, how important was it to have a clear week this week with no sort of midweek games, especially with the schedule as it's been? Has it been nice just to have a full week with the squad?
Yeah, it's been absolutely great. I think it's our first one in about 8-9 weeks. And they've had that clean week to one, allow the players to recover, but two, get some training time in. It's so important for the development of players that you can get onto the training field and work on aspects, some remedial work from the games, but also for the improvement of players. So that's been fantastic. We've had a real good time on the training field this week, and focusing on certain specifics within the game for players and individual functions. So yeah, it's been really good, and now we one more final day to finalise the tactic and then put everything into the game on Sunday.
Best of luck for the weekend, Brendan. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, Naz.
Okay, Ian Stringer, please.
Hi, Brendan. I hope you're well, and I hope you've missed not seeing us midweek, as I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't think so. Just on the fitness of your players, great news that everybody's back. You're going to have a bit of a selection dilemma at the back now, aren't you? Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, well, it's good to have the availability. I won't be too disappointed. You bring in, or you can bring back someone of Johnny's quality. So yeah, we're slowly getting there. Some of those players coming back is good news for us.
You're going to have to let somebody down, or will those three of Evans, Soyuncu and Fofana being fit allow for them all to slide in?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. They're all available, which is important, and it gives us that flexibility. And I know sometimes people look at what system you're playing and whatever, but we've been playing a 3, but within the game it swings to a 4 or it becomes a 3. So there's lots of flexibility within it. It's just about trying to pick the right balance of what's needed on the day for a certain game.
I think that's been one of the most impressive things this season, Brendan, actually, flexibility. It's rare that you see players that are able to adapt. Some of the older pros can because they're older pros, but a lot of your younger players and relatively maybe inexperienced players have had that flexibility. Is that something you coach, or is that something that you do in recruitment in getting flexible players?
Yeah, I think it's one of the types of profile player that I like. Someone that we look for certain characteristics, but certainly one of them is for a player who has the intelligence to interpret different playing systems. We'll always have a player that's got a real good level of technique, player that has a mental toughness, a player that is competitive and brave, but also, like I say, one that can come in and understand to play in different systems. And I think it's also part of the evolution of the game. It's teams now are so well organised, and you have to have different ways to break them down. And one of those ways is playing out a different system. So yeah, it's having players that have that capacity to be able to play that way, and hopefully in our time we've shown that, and that has helped us gain important results.
I know you spoke injuries. Jamie Vardy's okay, is he?
Yes, yeah. He's a really good week, so he's fine.
Must have enjoyed a week off.
Yeah, but we'll be able to take some loading out of his legs. There's big demands on him over these last few weeks, but no, it's been a really good week for him. That mixture of recovery, rest, but getting some specific work in, and he looks great.
We've enjoyed watching Sydney Tavares, Brendan, come through and experience first team football, but I have noticed that there's, correct me if I'm wrong, and I may well be, that there's a contract issue with him. He's out of contract in the summer. Is that correct, or have I got that wrong? And if so, how long is he at the club for? Yeah, I believe that is up at the end of the season. So yeah, the club I know have been in discussions with his representatives. So yeah, he's a very talented young player. He fits the profile of how we want to work.
good potential. Still a lot for him to do, but he's got certain characteristics that could see him really perform well in the Premier League. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that'll get resolved. Until that time, my job is to coach him and manage him and improve him as a player, and I'll continue to do that, whether he's here to the end of the season or well beyond it.
Knowing you as I do, Brendan, you won't be keen to watch a young, talented footballer leave and get through your fingertips. That's something I'd imagine you're keen to get resolved.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we provide an environment here for young players. I think when I come into here, I said to everyone in terms of the vision of the club was based around 3 fundamental principles, which was about can we win titles, can we play an aggressive attacking style, and third, it was about doing it with a number of young players from our academy. And then that's where my heart is. It's about developing every player, but of course I love to give that opportunity to young players. So yeah, I hope that they would see this as a great place to be. We got a world-class training facility. We got a team that's looking to be competitive at the top end of this division, and they, whilst having a manager that still will put in a young player. So for any young player, I think it's a great place to be, and hopefully him and his family can see that.
Finally, Brendan, what are Sheffield United's biggest threats, do you feel, or could that actually be maybe not a team threat, it could be their position and their situation in the league, but what's their biggest threat at the weekend?
Yeah, I think they will never give up, Ian. In my time watching Chris's team and the players, they've been really unfortunate. Like a number of teams, like ourselves, they've had a number of key players that have been out for them, which makes a difference to performance. And if you don't have the depth of squad to replace those, then it's very, very difficult. But they've still gone into every game. They've been very honest to the game. They give absolutely everything. They fight, they run, and they have quality. But sometimes it goes against you, and consistently, unfortunately for them, it just went against them. But we have to be ready again for another very, very difficult game. So even though we've beat them in the times we've played them, they've always been very close games. So we have to be ready for that.
Good luck Sunday, Brendan.
Thanks, Ian. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll take one from Phil from PA, and then we'll move into the daily section.
Brendan, I just wanted to check that there were no new injuries that came out of the Brighton game, and also just to check on Cengiz Ünder, because I know he was missing from the squad. What injury was that, and how long might he be out for?
Yeah, it'll be a few weeks yet. So he hurt his thigh, so he's still out, and nothing new to report.